Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are tuning in from. My name is Angeline Constantinu. I am the founder, podcaster, and coach of Let's Break the Silence with Angeline, where we help women regain their power and attract abundance in their lives after domestic abuse. So if you are watching this live, we are broadcasting live on my personal Facebook page, my business page, Let's Break the Silence with Angeline, and we are live streaming on my YouTube channel. So please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So today I have a very special guest, a very, very good woman friend who I connected with a couple of weeks ago here on social media. So before I get started, please let us know where you are tuning in from. If you are watching the live right now on YouTube or on Facebook, please let us know by hashtagging live, and please let us know where you are tuning in from. So we can give you a proper shout out. So anyway, so here is Tina. So I'm super excited to have Tina as a special guest on my podcast, Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. Tina will be sharing her journey as a podcaster, interviewer, NLP practitioner, and a women empowerment coach. She got her psychology degree in 2005. After being a management assistant for more than 30 years, Tina decided in 2018 that she needed a change in her profession. In 2018, she started several coaching training courses, and in September 2020, she became a certified women empowerment coach, and now she is the founder of and podcaster of the Women's Table. So before we get started, please like and subscribe to my Let's Break the Silence on Anchor FM, Spotify, Google, Apple, and all the live streams. So without further ado, hi, Tina.
Hi, Angeline.
Good morning to you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank
Good,
you.
good. And Tina is all the way in the Netherlands.
Yes, I am. I live in
Yeah.
Friesland, up in the north of the Netherlands, in a
North
very
of the
small town
Netherlands.
village.
So how's the weather by where you, and what is the time over there, please?
It's
Yeah.
5 p.m. at this moment, and the weather is awful. Well, at least I think it's awful because it's horribly cold.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
How cold is it?
No, I'm not sure. Maybe 8, 9 degrees Celsius.
Oh, wow, that's cold.
Yes, that's cold.
Well, we're
Yeah, well,
spoiled
I
here.
think it's cold. Yeah.
Well, we're spoiled here. Actually, here it's in the 30s right now, and the temperature's going up into the 50s Celsius.
Yeah. Sounds better.
That sounds a lot better, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, Tina, it is so great to have you here.
Thank
It
you
is
for having
really
me.
great to have you here. So, for the viewers who are tuning in this morning to our live broadcast, and by the way, this recording will be uploaded on my podcast either tomorrow or on Monday. So, you would be able to have a listen on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Tell us a little bit about yourself. So, who is Tina?
Yeah, who is Tina? Well, as mentioned, as you just mentioned in my bio, my name is Tina. I'm 53. Um, I was a management assistant for more than 30 years. After finishing high school, I decided I did not want to go to college. And then actually, there was just one other option. I had to go to work. So I became a secretary, and I've been doing that for more than 30 years. I actually didn't like my job, but I kept doing it probably because of some sort of, I always compare it with this old winter coat, you have for 20 or 30 years. It's nice, it's cozy, it's comfortable. Actually, it's really ugly. You have to get rid of it, but you cannot say goodbye to your coat. So this is something I kept doing. I kept working as a management assistant because I was actually, well, I didn't know what else to do. And I got my psychology degree and I got my NLP practitioner certificate. And even though I got those, I still kept working as a management assistant. I don't know why. I think it was the easy way out. And I think in 2016, 2017, my husband, who is a coach and a therapist, he suggested, well, why don't you go do a coaching course?
Mm.
Because you have this interest in the human mind, in the human psyche. So I was like, yeah, well, that could work. So in 2018, when we moved to the north of the Netherlands, I quit my job in the Amsterdam area,
Oh,
and
good.
I decided to go for it and yeah, do some coaching courses, and so I did. Yeah,
There's nothing like pursuing your passion.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
yeah, I know that for myself a couple of years ago, actually on this day, I decided to fire my boss and I decided to, um, leave the corporate world to pursue my true passion, which is what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
So I
right.
totally understand. So when did that epiphany happen to just pack up and move to the Netherlands? What prompted you to do that?
Well, in 2018, we always came to the north of the Netherlands for a vacation, for a weekend. Um, I have family living here up in the north. It's a 2-hour drive from the Amsterdam area. And
Okay.
it was always like, okay, it's fun, and now, in 2018, actually, we were walking around, and I was like, oh my, Friesland, it's so beautiful. I want to move here. And my husband was like, yeah, right, because
Right.
whatever, it's her again. And so actually, it started as a joke. But within a year, we found our dream house and we moved. We made a move.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
You
And
found your
this
dream
is
home.
amazing. We have this amazing house. We live in the country. Yeah, we have a wonderful view. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah,
That's great. Boy, I'm so
yeah,
glad to hear that.
yeah,
So glad to
absolutely.
hear that. I know that when we connected a couple of weeks ago, you had a story that you told me about overcoming trauma and domestic abuse.
Hmm.
So, you know, um, I know for myself, it took courage to share my story out there on social media.
Yeah.
So, what happened before you got involved with, your profession as far as being a women empowerment coach and the podcast? So,
Yeah.
what happened, and how did you heal from that trauma? What were some of the strategies that you implemented?
Yeah. Well, I was actually in two relationships with not physical violence, but with verbal violence,
Mm,
like being put down.
okay.
And one was, I think, about 10 years ago, and this man was really, really angry. You could have a nice chat thinking that everything was well in the world, and then suddenly I would say something which which freaked him out, and I had absolutely no idea what it was that triggered him. And then he started screaming and yelling, and the relationship itself didn't last for very long. It lasted about 6 months. But in those 6 months, I really I became insecure. I was doubting myself. I was
Mm,
like, what did I do now? What did I say? What can I do to do it right, to make it right? It was horrible. And
mm,
actually, for me, a turning point, the tipping point to end the relationship was when we were in a restaurant and he really started screaming at me, yelling at me. And the manager of the restaurant came over to us and asked me if everything was all right. And I was like, yeah, right. And I was, at some point, I wanted to leave and I was standing at the door and he went to pay the check, to pay the bill.
mm,
And everyone in the restaurant was watching me, with pity. And I was like, oh my, Oh, it was so horrible, and that was actually for me a sign. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Yeah,
Yeah,
what is
because
wrong with you?
well, at a restaurant you want to have a nice time and a nice relaxing
Yeah,
dinner, but it didn't turn out that way.
no, it
And
didn't.
I've been there, and it's not fun.
No, it's not. And the other thing that was really an eye opener to me was, well, we talked before, and I told you this before. My best friend, at one time, I was complaining to her about this guy, and she was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "What do you mean, who are you? I'm me." And she said, "No, no, my best friend, the Tina I know, wouldn't put up with this crap. So who the fuck are you?" And I was like, okay, yeah, yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Well, that was also an eye opener for me. So I was like, okay, I gotta get out. I gotta get out. And yeah, and I think that we are being raised in a society where we are being taught that you have to have a relationship. You
Mm,
have to get married, have kids, start a family. That this is the kind of society we grow up in. So when you grow up and all your friends are getting married and you're not married, you are starting to wonder, well, at least that's happened. What happened to me? What is wrong with me?
right.
Yeah, why can't I have a good relationship? So yeah, and then you are going to try to get a relationship, and when you do have a relationship, you are doing really hard. You are really trying really hard to make that relationship work at all
Exactly.
costs. At all costs. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, at all costs, and that's what I did. I ended up, you know, I ended up going for therapy
Yeah.
for 1 year. So how about you? What were the strategies? So after, that you couldn't make that marriage work, so what did you do? So, did you seek help, counseling?
No, I did not seek help or counseling. I
Okay.
just had a good talk with myself, like, this is not going to work. Get out.
Mm,
I was never really afraid he would um, uh, use physical violence, but you never know. But you never know.
but you never know. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. 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 But that's her courage, That's
Yeah.
her courage, for you, to leave your marriage. So so what I want to get into is, when you started to change, I wanted to get into your profession and
Hmm.
how you went from being a management assistant to now, um,
Yeah.
a women empowerment coach, and now a podcaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
When I,
yeah, so I would really love to talk about that.
yeah. Yeah. Well, when I got last year when I got my certification
Right.
for being a coach, I asked my cousin, who's a web designer. I talked to her about what the website would look like. And I wanted a dynamic website. I didn't want a website like, okay, this is Tina, this is what I do, this is what it will cost you. I want to do something different. And I had decided for myself that I wanted to work with women. So we talked about this page I wanted to have on my website about inspiring women, and those women are ordinary women. So I interviewed people in my surroundings, in my vicinity, and asked them if they wanted to share their story about this remarkable woman in their life. So I got those beautiful stories about mothers, about sisters. I even got some men to talk about their wives or their mothers.
Oh,
My husband wrote a story about his mother. So I wanted, I had those interviews, and afterwards I was so every you know I every time I asked the same questions, but because you're interviewing another person about another woman, every time the story is different. And I really got those beautiful stories. And then I said to myself, okay, I'm going to start a podcast. What am I going to talk about? And actually, this was something I really postponed for a long time, because I was like, what am I going to talk about? you know?
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. That's
yeah,
a big thing, because I know for myself, what am I going to talk about? What is it that I'm most passionate about?
yeah,
And mine is to help women find their voice and to break the silence
yeah,
and
absolutely.
all of
Yeah,
empowerment
yeah,
and healing.
yeah.
So, as far as yourself is concerned, when did you launch your podcast, by the way?
I launched my podcast in January. The first podcast was launched in January.
Oh,
And
good.
this is, what I want to achieve with my podcast, except for the usual, of course, because I want to inspire women, uplift them, empower them. I also want to raise awareness about some female related issues, like the pay gap, or the, domestic abuse, online misogyny. I knew those things were out there. I just never realized how bad they were. And
Right.
so I think that if we women become aware of what is going on, maybe we can support each other more, because I think there are a lot of women out there who support one another, but there are still a few women out there who don't support other women. And I think that's too
Unfortunately,
bad. Yeah,
it
that's
is
too
too
bad.
bad. It is.
Yeah.
Oh, Patricia, my friend Patty is tuning live from New Jersey. Hi.
Hi. Hi, Patricia.
Why is that? Why is it that some women don't support other women? You know what's funny now? Not that what's so funny. I see now a shift that now women are collaborating with women more than ever.
Absolutely. I see the
But why
same.
is it that some women don't support other women and
Yeah.
tear each other down? Why is that?
Yeah. Well, I had this interesting talk the other day with a woman from my network, from the Lean In network I'm in. And
Okay.
she told me that this is something, back in the 50s, back in the 60s, women were financially depending on their husbands. And in the Netherlands, I'm not sure about the US, I'm only talking about the Netherlands right now.
Okay.
And in the Netherlands, when you got married, you were fired from your job. And if you had an essential job, an essential profession, like being a nurse or a teacher, your paycheck was given to your husband.
Really?
Yes,
There's no
absolutely.
financial independence.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
So, the thing is, when I always give this example, when a husband cheats, most of the times, I'm not saying always, but most of the time, the other woman is being blamed. The other woman is being blamed. Like, she is stealing. She's a homewrecker. She's stealing the husband from another woman.
Oh my
And
God.
she says, she told me that what she thinks is that back in the days when women were really depending on their husbands,
Mm.
if your husband cheated on you, you know, there was no way you could get angry with your husband, because if he left you, you had a big problem. So it was easier to blame the other woman.
See?
So that was her explanation, and I figured it did make sense to me. Yeah,
Yeah, I know. Wow.
yeah,
I know that, I was born and raised in a Greek family,
yeah.
and we were raised, my parents were very old school. My dad is still alive. And my mom passed away 4 years ago, unfortunately,
Mhm.
from cancer. But,
Yeah.
you know, like they enforced discipline on me. I'm the oldest in the family.
Hmm.
So, like I had to, there was just so much pressure. I mean, um, growing up, going to college and doing well. And I didn't graduate from college, you know, and we, back then my dad was actually, my mom and dad opened up a restaurant business. They,
Mm-hmm.
luncheonette, but my dad was the one who took care of the finances, not my mom.
Yeah.
So if I asked my mom to do something like let's go shopping, well, I have to ask dad for some money.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, that is what happened back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my mom, she was always this is something really good she passed on to me and my sister, because my
Mhm.
mom, she was really, really beautiful. She's still with us, but she's 86 at the moment. She's still beautiful. But
Right.
when she was 16, her mother, so my grandmother, told her, "You don't have to get married. You just have to find a nice man, and he will take care of you." And my
See?
mom was like, "Yeah, right," because my mom wanted to get her teacher's degree. And my grandmother was like, "You don't have to get any degree. Just find a good husband." And my mom was like, "I don't think so."
I don't think
So,
so. Right.
yeah.
I don't think so. Right.
Yeah, so this is something she passed on to me. Finish school, get a degree, get a job, and make sure if something goes wrong, you can take care of yourself. This is what she always told us. Make sure you are able to take care of yourself as a woman.
Mm. See?
It's, yeah,
That's important. That's
that is
important that we
very important. And I think that in the Netherlands, it is really common that women work part time because of the kids. And I think that a lot of women, I think, are not really aware of the financial consequences when their husbands, when the marriage fails. Let me put it
oh,
like that. I
you know
don't think, oh, yeah,
they have control. Right.
yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think women are aware of those consequences. And I think they should be. Yeah.
They should be, and then they should be educated financially.
Yeah. You should
So,
be able to take care of yourself if the marriage fails. And of course we want to live happily ever after. Of course, I get it. Of course.
mm.
But yeah, I, you must be able to take care of yourself. Absolutely.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you. That's important. Knowing that you can stand up on your own 2 feet.
Yeah.
I know for myself, and you too, you know,
Hmm.
I had to stand up for myself.
Yeah.
That was huge. It was a huge mindset shift. That was a huge shift that I had to make in my life because I was relying on him, and then I ended up,
Yeah.
$40,000 in the hole.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so do you teach women, like as far as your podcast is concerned?
Hmm.
Do you teach women about being financially independent? What?
Not yet. Well, I haven't had a podcast about this yet,
Right.
but I talk about one of the shows is about religion and the impact religion has on women,
Mm,
because there are a lot of religious women who really feel that the man is the leader of the family. Yeah, he's the master
see?
of the house. So, and yeah, religion has a huge impact on the independence of women, but that's just my humble opinion. um
Okay.
yeah. And I've talked about women and networking together. You know what you just mentioned, there is a huge shift at this moment about women collaborating, women working together. So I did a podcast on that as well.
Oh,
And I
good.
also did a podcast about the crabs in a basket phenomenon. Have you heard about that?
No, I would love
Yeah,
to hear more about
yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay, so here in the Netherlands, this is just awful, but here in the Netherlands, people say that when there is one crab in a basket, he wants to get out, he can climb out on his own. If there are other crabs in a basket, and one crab is trying to get out, the other ones will try to hold him back. And women in the Netherlands are compared to crabs in a basket. So if one crab is trying to get out, the other ones will try to to pull the crab back. So
Wow.
actually, it's about women not working, not being able working together. Women being judgmental of one another. Women not don't want other women to succeed. Yeah, this is what we are being compared to. Yeah, it's horrible. It's a
Oh,
horrible
that's
comparison.
horrible.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
That is horrible. And that's happening even today?
yes, it does. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So so raising awareness about this on your podcast is huge.
yeah. Yes, absolutely. I think it's huge. Yeah. Um, and I think women should be aware because I'm really trying hard to not to be judgmental of other women. Uh,
That's
it
good. Me too.
yeah,
Too.
yeah. I'm the other day, I mentioned this in this particular podcast. I was walking down the street, and there was this woman coming from across the street towards me, and she was a kind of yeah, she was a kind of big a woman, and I was like, oh, and she was wearing those tight jeans, and I was like, really? Are you really gonna do this? Oh my! And the
Yeah,
minute it slipped my mind, I was like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this? This is so not women empowering women. Why are you doing this?
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I'm like, I'm 53. I'm not that. I don't have. I'm not that thin anymore, like I was when I was 18.
Me
So,
too.
so
Our
it's
bodies change. What can I
ridiculous.
tell
Yeah,
you?
yeah, it's ridiculous. And I was like, why am I doing this? I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be like. I don't want to be this woman.
Right.
So every time I notice that I'm doing this, I correct myself. And I'm having this really tough conversation with myself. Don't do this. Don't do this.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's good. So
Yeah.
at least you're catching yourself.
Yeah. I'm catching myself. Yeah.
Because, in the world that we live in today, oh, and by the way, my friend Samantha's from New Jersey too. Hi, Samantha.
Hi, Samantha.
Nice to see you here. Thanks for stopping by. So, yeah, and watching our live. It's just women, we should be nurturing each other,
Yes, absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely.
But I do see, as far as myself is concerned, I see more women coming together
Yeah, me too.
in the last year.
Yeah.
Because maybe in the past, I mean, I used to belong to different networking groups, and I felt at times that I was shunned,
Yeah.
just ignored,
Yeah, me too.
and then I stopped going to networking events, but that's not the answer, because if you do that, then they win.
Yeah.
You're giving them the power. So now,
Yeah.
now I'm not afraid of going to a networking event anymore.
No, you know what? The thing about networking is because I was part of a few networking groups as well,
Hmm.
live networking groups, online networking groups,
Right.
and I didn't feel at home. I didn't feel like I belonged, and I was like, okay, I don't belong here, and this wasn't about them, it was about me. I didn't feel comfortable within that group, so I moved on. And I think that networking is all about finding your tribe, finding the tribe you belong to. And if you, as a woman, you want to start networking and you don't feel comfortable within the networking group, just move along and find another group, and until you find your tribe, because your tribe is out there. I'm sure of it. I found mine.
And I found my tribe too.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? And I found
Yes.
my tribe. So it took time.
Yeah.
So if the others didn't work out, it wasn't God's plan.
Yeah.
God's plan was not for me to continue with that group. So I separated myself and
Yeah.
I started to build my brand, evolve my brand online, and build relationships through social media.
Yeah.
So Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah.
and now TikTok.
Yeah. Amazing.
TikTok is a huge platform, and I've made a lot of new friends there. And
Okay.
I can go. When you start a TikTok account, this is just on the side. You have to have 1,000 followers or more in order to go live. But I feel at home there.
Yeah.
Not that I still Facebook is still my main platform,
Mm-hmm.
but the podcast, I get so many shout outs. I mean, people who like I'll participate in other lives and they'll say, go to Angeline's podcast
Yeah.
and go subscribe to it. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. That's amazing, isn't it?
Isn't
Yeah.
it amazing that we found
Yeah.
a tribe and you found your tribe? So do you have more of a presence on Facebook or Instagram? What is your main platform that you're using right
The-
now?
Well, the main platform at this moment is Facebook, and a little bit of LinkedIn.
A little bit of LinkedIn. Okay.
Yeah,
I
a
have
little bit.
LinkedIn too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I have LinkedIn
yeah.
too.
It's
So,
yeah, a little bit of LinkedIn, but my main platform is Facebook. Absolutely. Yeah,
okay. Okay.
because I have a feeling that um, that Facebook is people on Facebook are easier to connect with. LinkedIn
That's
is
true.
really a business network, yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about, and
yeah,
I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you, especially in Facebook groups.
yeah,
It's very easy to make that connection, and that's what I'm focusing on for myself. It's just building relationships in Facebook groups.
yeah,
So, yeah, so I'm really happy that you took the time from your busy schedule to be a guest on my podcast today. So, any closing remarks, anything that you want to share with the audience today? What was
yeah,
your special message that you want to share with the whole?
yeah, yeah. What I would like to say, well, of course, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. What I really think is important, we women, we have to stick together. We have to stick together. We have to be sisters. I'm all about women empowerment, sisterhood, and feminism. And there's nothing wrong with being a feminist, because people are making it sound so bad. Feminism today has such a bad name, but I'm a very proud feminist, and I don't care. I'm a feminist, and
Good.
we women, we have to stick together. We have to stick together. Absolutely. Please don't act like a crab in a basket.
I like that analogy with the
Yeah,
crab in the basket.
yeah,
You're 100% right.
yeah.
You're 100% right. So, everyone, please follow Tina on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And where can people find you on your podcast?
Oh, well, I can be found on iTunes. I can be found on Spotify, and the name of the podcast is The Women's Table, because I want to give women a seat at the table.
I like that.
Yes, and if women who are watching are interested in sharing their story with me, please feel free to reach out to me if you want to be a guest on my show. No problem. I
Very
want to.
good.
I would love to talk actually to every single woman in the world. That's unfortunately not possible. Yeah, but please feel free to reach out to me.
Absolutely. So for those of you who are tuning in today, please like and subscribe to the Women's Table podcast, which is on Spotify and all the streaming platforms. And please reach out to Tina on Facebook if you would like to be a guest on our podcast. And I would be honored to be a guest on your podcast.
Absolutely, Angeline. I would love to have you.
Isn't it a blessing? This is the power of social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the internet. The fact that you and I connected 2 weeks ago because you had put up a post in one of the groups that I'm a member of. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I said, I need to connect with Tina.
Yeah.
Because you have a very special message to share. You do.
Thank you. Thank
you.
You
know, about women coming together. And I just want to go back to the comments here for 1 second. So Patty says, thank you. Yes, we need to stand with our sisters. You talk about sisterhood.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's important that we stay together.
Yeah.
Oh, and I have a friend tuning in. Hi, Suraj. Nice to see you. And yes, Patty, absolutely, absolutely. So, Tina, I want to thank you for being a guest on my podcast today.
Thank you for having me, Angeline. It was an honor. Thank you.
Welcome. So everyone, please, again, follow Tina on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Please connect with Tina. And if you would like to be a guest on her podcast, the name of her podcast is the Women's Table Podcast, which can, the link is right there that you can click on to, or you can just type it in Spotify and you'll be able to find her. Okay. So
absolutely.
In closing, everyone, I want to thank everyone today for tuning in to our live broadcast. This is the new podcast, episode 29. And please like and subscribe to my Let's Break the Silence on Anchor FM, Spotify, Google, Apple, and all the live streams. And please check out our website. New episodes are available at www.letsbreakthesilence.com. Okay, and if you would like to be a guest on my podcast as well, please feel free to reach out to me. You know where to find me. Okay, so with that being said, we are going to end the broadcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And if you are watching the replay, just let us know by hashtagging replay in the comments. And we will see you on the next podcast episode.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We'll stay on for a few minutes after the broadcast is over. Thanks, everyone. Bye.